Vancouver Fairview.
Well, Speaker, and I would like to thank the member for Burnaby North for bringing forth this motion. As a number of my colleagues on this side of the House have already stated, of course, we support, as British Columbians support, enhancing trade and diversifying our trading relationships around the world. It's important. British Columbians also want to know, as we establish these trading relationships, what the agreements are, whether they advantage us in particular areas, whether they disadvantage us, whether they're going to translate into and reinforcement of our existing jobs or hopefully many new jobs. So in that regard, I'd like to note the comment of the member from Abbotsford Mission. He spoke about speaking to students about whether they wish to be observers of a process or whether they wish to actually shape the process. So I would note in this regard that this initiative, the initiative to which this motion refers, is within the purview of the federal government. And I would have liked to see in this motion greater clarity about the kinds of terms that British Columbians would like to see in a trade agreement in Asia, any of the trade agreements in Asia, to actually go further to protect our interests, ensure that we're advantaged, ensure that the deals are fair and reciprocal, and that British Columbians, our economic lives are enhanced by any agreement that's made on our behalf. I think most of us would agree that we as legislators should be in a position of doing more than standing on the sidelines and simply boosting a particular initiative without knowing the details, or at the very least stating the kinds of details that would underpin our satisfaction with an agreement and our full support for an agreement. I'd like to note in this regard, Honourable Speaker, that if we take a look at the current state of our trading relationships with Asia, if we look at our trade profile with South Korea, where the first deal is likely to be struck, and I should note that when this deal is struck, it will very likely form a template for any other free trade agreements that are struck in Asia on our behalf and on the behalf of other Canadians. So what is the profile of our top 4 exports to South Korea? They are, in fact, in 2013, all essentially raw resources. But if we look at what we import from Korea, it's motor vehicles, telephone sets, electronic integrated circuits, motor vehicle parts, and structures. Similarly, Honourable Speaker, if we look at mainland China, again, BC is exporting raw resources, and we're importing automatic data processing machines, telephones, motor vehicle parts, wheeled toys, and seats. And finally, Honourable Speaker, with Japan, to whom we've been exporting raw logs for decades, for the better part of a century. Again, our resources, our top exports are raw resources. We're importing motor vehicles, motor vehicle parts, self-propelled bulldozers, printing machinery, parts of helicopters, etc. So what I would say, the lesson I would take from this Honourable Speaker, is we want to ensure that any trade agreement we strike is fair, that it's balanced, that it provides us reciprocal access to the markets that we're striking the deals with, and that we look for ways to actually enhance value-added, the intensification of employment and jobs in new industries and existing industries in British Columbia. And we can do that in a number of ways. I referenced this morning in an earlier private member statement that investment in the cultural sector provides 5 times as many jobs as the oil and gas sector. We've seen growth of high tech in BC, but we lag the global average, we lag the Canadian average, and if we strategically promote our technology and knowledge-based industries, we will be changing our export profile to Asia, and we will be enhancing jobs in British Columbia. Those are the kinds of details that I would like to hear from the side opposite. Those are the kind of details I'd like to hear in a motion. And when we get these trade deals, I hope that our province and our government, working closely with the opposition, will enhance our manufacturing in BC, will enhance our value added, and will enhance the jobs for British Columbians. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. That concludes my remarks, and noting the hour, I'd move adjournment of the debate.